Alright, testing. 1, 2, 3. Glad to know that I'm coming in loud and clear. Oh, oops. I think... forgot to turn on my stream light. Gotta make sure that I'm adequately lit and visible. Should be much better. So, marginally better. Anyway, planning on doing some more Pioneer content today. Starting off with a blue-white approach list. I've had a lot of success with this list. It's very fun for me to play. Basically, you stall out until you approach of the second sun twice. This was originally a Jeff Hoogelin list that's been modified by myself for budget and personal preference reasons. And I kind of enjoy this list. I think if this sort of deck had a good 1-mana white removal spell, it would be insane. But for right now, we have like Last Breath and Declaration in Stone. I would play more Teferis if I had them. I don't. And I'm actually going to take this, I think, into a Pioneer Constructed League. I feel confident enough to do that. Actually, one sec. Okay. So let's do it. Blue-white approach, Pioneer League. Let's go. Alright, round 1. And make sure right away that I've got this set to the right width. Cool. Alright, this looks like a fantastic opening hand. So we're going to keep. Our opponent is on a Mana Confluency deck. That's kind of cool. We'll start Island. Pass the turn. See what our opponent's up to. Mountain. Into a Hero of Precinct 1. We're not particularly scared of that. This could be like a 5-color hero deck, so I think what we want to do here... we'll play a Port Town, reveal a Prairie Stream, and play as Kanta. So, like, we do have the option of just Supreme Verdict if they go really wide, which it seems like they're intending to do. Ooh. Ooh, is this just like Pyromancer number 2? Oh gosh. Okay, maybe I'm underestimating this deck. We'll see. I do like this card. Kind of cool to see it being played. Alright. Top card of our deck is a Port Town. We don't need 3 mana this turn, so we're going to mill it. Or, I mean, we don't need another land like that this turn, I mean. We're going to play Prairie Stream and just try and Last Breath or Opt, I think. Okay. Our opponent tapped out, so we're going to stem the bleeding to the best of our abilities. Hopefully we're actually fast enough to, I guess, interact. We'll see. Groll Spellbreaker. Gives it haste. Well, things have lined up quite nicely for a Verdict turn this turn. We will mill Hallowed Fountain. Draw Hallowed Fountain. Let's go Verdict. Pass the turn. Kind of hoping our opponent runs out of action. Okay, we get Interventioned. Mill Irrigated Farmland. We draw Irrigated Farmland. So, play Hallowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. Want to play a Llanowar Elves. No, we are running Dig Through Time. Okay, so let's opt. Okay. That sucks. Alright, so Hyper Aggro. We definitely want Nyx Fleece Rams. Another Verdict. Aether Gust seems decent. Declaration in Stone's probably good. And Detention Sphere might be worth running. I'm not certain on that one. We're going to cut a Fae of Wishes, as well as a Teferi. Supreme Will also seems kind of bad in this matchup. Paying 3 mana for a mana leak is kind of bad. Opponent's deck seems very upset that it can't play Wild Nicottle. I agree. That is definitely the kind of deck you would play Wild Nicottle in if you could. I think I'm going to cut Teferi altogether, actually. 5 mana Teferi. And 1 Censor. I'm going to try it like this. Hopefully it works. We don't have any small life gain spells. Like, we don't have timely reinforcements in this format, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay, we have a Censor into a Teferi. I think I'm going to keep this. We're going to play Port Town, revealing Hallowed Fountain. Pass the turn. We're probably cycling Cast Out here. Okay, perfect. Cycle Cast Out. I'm going to hold up Censor. I feel like trying to get our opponent here is going to be worth it. And it is. Get him with the gotcha. Let's untap. I feel like getting Teferi down here is really important. He could just die to something, but I would like having him on board if possible. Hey Darky, how's it going? Opponent plays Hero. Redraw, Settle the Wreckage. We're going to bounce Hero so we can hit a land. We don't. So we're going to play Search. One of Secure the Waste would be useful. Yeah, that was one of like my initial thoughts with this. Okay, opponent's going to destroy Search for Iskanta. That's fine. We do have Last Breath. Okay, there's the land we were looking for. So play the land, tick up Teferi, pass the turn. Let's see what our opponent does. We're likely just Last Breathing here. Actually, we're probably going to Deck in Stone to play around Pump Spells. Okay, opponent's going in at Teferi. If Teferi takes 2, that's fine. Okay. Okay, Hero of Precinct 1. Okay. And a Cindervines. We'll put the Cindervines on the bottom of our opponent's deck. So we'll play Prairie Stream. Tick up Teferi. And I think we just pass turn and try and settle. Everything at Teferi, yeah, let's settle. Okay, opponent gets a bunch of lands. Opponent interventions to kill Teferi. That's fine. Okay. So we're going to play Jace. Probably going to take whatever pile has lands. Yeah, we'll take pile 2. Play Glacial Fortress, pass the turn. Alright. If our opponent has another burn spell for Jace, that kind of sucks. Okay, so we Last Breath that on our turn. Opponent gets a Domri. Okay. Creature spells they control can't be countered. And Cindervines number 3. Okay. Oh, that prevents Last Breath. That's annoying. Well, we can still Declaration in Stone at least. So let's Temple of Enlightenment, get a Scry, Island to the bottom, plus Jace, and we're going to Declaration in Stone this now. Take 1. We just need to answer that in such a way that we're not going to be dealing with that token. I probably should have Last Breathed because we do have more answers. And now that Domri's out, we're going to have a harder time. I completely forgot. I haven't played against this card, I'll be honest. Not even in Standard when I played Standard, so that's a punt on my part. Okay, Boros Charm Eroded to hit Planeswalkers. Okay, opponent's adding 3 mana. Another Cindervines. That's Cindervines number 4, I think. They're really worried about Search for Riscanta. So I think we go ahead and wish for Approach. And just take the damage. We could take Hour of Revelation, too. How far off casting that are we? So we either take Approach or we take Hour of Revelation. Take Hour of Revelation, we answer all of our problems. We answer whatever creatures they play, too. They only have one card in hand. Domri doesn't draw them cards. Cindervine makes all of our non-cycling cantrips suck. I wish I could take Teferi here. Maybe I can take Teferi here. And take Teferi and, like, tuck Domri. He doesn't give anything haste. I'm going to take Teferi. And we're going to go ahead and cast Fae of Wishes. Just to have it block. Okay, opponent puts 2 1/1 counters on Knight of Autumn. And plays an Experimental Frenzy. Detention Sphere was also reasonable there for sure. So we're going to attack Domri. No. No, we're not going to attack. We're going to play Teferi. Take 2 damage. Land Teferi. Plus Teferi. We're going to untap like this. I might Last Breath my own Fae of Wishes, just to gain some life. You know, I didn't think much of this through. I should have just wrathed. This has an extra ability, so let's do that. I'm gonna discard 2 of these because they're pretty useless. Second Domri. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opponent pumps Knight. Okay, they're still killing Teferi, thankfully. So we Wish and we Wrath, for sure, 100%. Kind of sucks because we're taking a lot of damage off this. But I think this is the correct play. As long as our opponent doesn't get a big hasty threat or a long string of burn spells, this should be great. So we're wishing for, I think, Hour of Revelation, which is probably what I should have done in the first place. If our opponent floods the board, we Planar Cleansing. If they don't, still Planar Cleansing, but for more mana. Burn spell number 1, Hero. Voice of Resurgence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This puts us way down. Cast this as a blocker. We're almost certainly dead, though. Yeah, so even if we'd have exiled, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. So I definitely piloted this way suboptimally for that matchup. that was my bad. For anyone in the chat who'd like to who'd like to make fun of me, we do have a new emoticon, which is the punt emoticon. If you sub, you get access. Alright, so we'll move on to round 2. Hopefully, we have a much better time with this. Okay, this looks like a fairly decent start, so we'll keep. A little bit of slow mana here, but it'll be fine. Okay. opponent starts Hallowed Fountain, we'll play a Temple of Enlightenment. And I think we actually want Jace here. Glacial Fortress for our opponent. Into a Smuggler's Copter. Seems fun. I can't remember if emotes are only available to subs because it's been forever since I set it up. And I don't know if that's an option or not. Selfless Spirit. Alright, we're going to get a Spirit beating here. It's really bad for a Wrath-based deck. Hey! Thanks for subbing, Combat Wombat. Much appreciated. You're a wonderful human being, and thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Alright, Declaration in Stone's pretty good. It is a way to answer Selfless Spirit. I think what we're going to do is... Do we just hold up Supreme Will this turn? We're going to do this now. So we're doing this now. They have to commit to the board if they want to keep animating Copter, or if they want to win. Okay, Gideon. Copter will probably be banned next Monday. I don't know if Copter is too broken for this format. It is really good, though. Opponent loots away a Copter. Okay. So we'll play a Field of Ruin. I think we just play a Sacrificial Jace here. Yeah. If we plus, they can plus Gideon and kill him. So we just want cards. Teferi's good here. We do have another land. Actually, I think I'm not going to take Teferi. I don't think I'll be able to set up an instant speed Wrath, so we're going to take the Censor and Hallowed Fountain. Okay, opponent fires up a Smuggler's Copter and Gideon. That's kind of interesting to me. Okay, Cast Out is good. So we'll play Field of Ruin. Let's go ahead and attempt to cast out Gideon. If they have a counter spell here, we're just done. We're just done. I do play some Hearthstone in my off time, though I don't usually stream it. I'm not very good at it. It's just something to do to kill time when I need to. And I am excited for the new mode. I think the new mode looks really fun. I don't know if I'll personally enjoy it. I know I'll enjoy doing something different in that game for a while, but I don't know how I feel about auto chess. A lot of people like it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just personally, for me, it may not be much fun. Okay. So we're against like a blue-white tempo, aggro, nonsense kind of deal. So Mystical Dispute, Disdainful Stroke, Supreme Verdict, Detention Sphere. And we could want Nyx Fleece here. I'm not sure. Last Breath kills every creature we saw except Gideon and Copter. So we probably want those. Cut one Fae, one Censor, one Teferi, and Supreme Will. Maybe another Censor. Try it like that. Okay, so we'll play first. Yeah, we keep this hand. Play Port Town, Revealing Island. Pass the turn. Okay, Will opt. Supreme Will to the bottom. Draw Temple. Veto does stop Copter. That is worth noting. That's not something I thought of. Play an island and pass. Unfortunately, Mystical Dispute on 2 does not stop Copter. But it doesn't look like they're going to play Copter. Recycle Cast Out. Okay, we get a Last Breath and Verdict. Play Glacial Fortress. Pass the turn. If we get down to Fairy, we stop a lot of their shenanigans. With like spell Quellers and whatnot. If our opponent wants to do nothing all game, that favors us by a lot. Approach is good. So play Temple. Fortress to the top. Next turn we can Teferi, and if they try and counter it, we dispute it. That seems pretty fun. And good and fun. They would need like Queller plus Spell Pierce or Double Negate. I think it's worth trying. You could also Queller it, and we could just Last Breath the Queller. This is good. Oh! Alright. Well, maybe I should have waited, but... Opponent cracks clue, draws card. We're gonna cycle Sensor. Okay. Yeah, let's attempt to search. Can't imagine this sticks around though. Yeah. Veto definitely should have been brought in. Like, based on what our opponent is doing and playing, we definitely should have brought in Veto. I thought they were more creature-based than they appeared. Opponent plays a Petty Theft. Sure. They're like straight up blue-white control with some creatures. Okay, Last Breath on Spirit works. Play Search for Riscanta. Opponent attempts a Queller. Mystical Dispute Queller. Okay. Hopefully this time it sticks. Another Petty Theft. Oh, good. Alright, pass. Okay, down comes Brazen Borrower. Hopefully, as long as they don't have another actual like negate or hard counterspell, we can actually get down Approach here. I don't know how likely that is or is not. We're gonna Mill Opt, Transform. I think we just play another one, keep it on the Scry mode, and start activating his Kanta for fun and profit. Okay, down comes the next Brazen Borrower. Opponent's going to activate Arden Veil. That's fine. So let's go ahead and try and settle him. Okay, another dispute. We take 7. Go to 10. Mill Temple. We won't transform. Draw. Okay, another Verdict's fine. So we wrath the board. Archangel Avacyn. What? What is going on here? Well, that makes me angry. Alright, you got us, opponent. Well, geez. You test in 5 2-mans, you go completely undefeated. You take it into a league, and you get wrecked every single game. Oh man, we had such a... that hurts. That hurts a lot. Well, we'll do our best in round 3. Still have the chance of coming back with the 3-2. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. Alright, we'll play first. It's a very awkward and slow hand here. But you know what? We'll keep. What's the worst that can happen? Alright. Start with Port Tower tapped. Pass the turn. Once upon a time, an opponent found a Pelt Collector that he cast off of an Overgrown Tomb. Alright, let's play an island. Pass the turn. See if Censor gets us any value. This is probably some variant of Hardened Scales that we're playing against. Yep. Get censored. Wanna get in for one? Sure. Play Glacial Fortress. We are going to need to hit a 4th land so we can Wrath. There's the Hardened Scales. And another Winding Constrictor. That got big in a hurry. Land, please? Not that land. Alright, well here's hoping we aren't dead. Alright, we might be dead. That's 12. Alright, just in time for a Wrath. Okay. Opponent Once Upon a Time. Walking Ballista. And we're dead? Oh, please, that can't be how it ends. Okay, Stone Coil Serpent. We're dead next turn. They could have just cast Walking Ballista and killed us. Why didn't they do that? Well, I mean, I guess we do this. Pretend we have an answer for the Ballista that works. They crack a clue, draw a card. Play an Overgrown Tomb untapped. And we're dead. Oh, no. Walking Ballista on 2. We're not dead. Go ahead and last breath that. They'll ping us twice. We go to 1. I'll go ahead and play Fae of Wishes and just pray they don't have another one. Once Upon a Time. Finds Walking Ballista, because of course it does. And we're dead. Grr. Okay. So versus counters. I think we want Aether Gust. They have a number of green permanents. Declaration in Stone and Nyx Fleece Ram are also good low mana answers to what our opponent's doing. We're going to drop Supreme Will. It's just too slow, and 3 mana Impulse is not where we want to be. Cut 1 Teferi, 1 Fae, and maybe we don't need all 3 Deck and Stone. We'll try it like this. Alright, we'll play first. Yeah, we'll keep. We're on the play, we'll have Wraths on 4. Hopefully that's enough. Hopefully our opponent doesn't go Hardened Scales, Hardened Scales, Hardened Scales into Walking Ballista for 9. Or something stupid. Welcome new viewers to the stream. I'm Kano. Right now we're playing some Pioneer. We're not doing as well as we'd hoped with a blue-white approach deck. Exclamation point deck will get you the deck list if you're still curious. And we're in game 2. We're down a game versus Hardened Scales. So, yeah. Alright, we're going first. Play an island. Pass the turn. I'm going to play a forest into an Experiment 1. We'll keep the Port Town. Untap, we draw Field of Ruin. Let's do that. Pump fake that we got a censor. Maybe cause our opponent to play differently. Hang it in for 1. Second main, they play a Hangerback Walker. We draw an approach. Not useful yet. Won't be useful for a while. Play Hollow Fountain tapped. One plays a Llanowar Wastes and a Winding Constrictor. So they can now regenerate the experiment one if they'd like. I think we still Wrath, considering we do have a Last Breath and a Teferi. So opponent can make... They did not regenerate experiment one. That was basically free. Questing Beast. Okay, we're going to take 7, untap. I said I wasn't going to do it again, but stand back, because I'm going to do it again. Pass the turn. Okay, Opponent plays a Nissa into a Stone Coil Serpent. Makes a token. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to play and plus Teferi. We're going to play land, and then after we untap, we're going to Last Breath this Serpent before it has a chance to be a problem. Okay, starting to stabilize, sort of. Opponent really hard in the tank here. Opponent plays a Walking Ballista on 2. Puts a counter on it all. Gets in at us for 1. Okay. I think we start by plussing Teferi. Opponent, once again, very hard in the tank. Not sure exactly what's going on here. We drew Settle the Wreckage, I think, which is our best possible draw. We're going to play Jace. And we are going to uptick Jace. Kind of blunt the assault here. Our opponent is disconnected. They seem to be having some internet trouble because they are handily kicking our butt. That or a meteorite struck their house. One of the two. There's no other option. Well, our opponent is still disconnected from the game. So how's everybody's day in chat going? Supanji Potato, thank you for following. You are a wonderful human being, and I appreciate your support for the stream. Is that like Spongy Potato? I like it. I do. Our opponent's still not back yet. If the only game or the only match we win by default, I'm gonna be pretty upset. Because I was having, this deck was doing so well in 2-mans. I kept playing against like nothing but creature-based matchups. It was just like one right after the other. Tribal decks that lose to Supreme Verdict, and I was like, wow, this deck must be pretty good. And then I play it in the league and get nothing but curb stomped the whole time. It's also probably a product of the, like, people are having time to figure out what's powerful in Pioneer. Because, like, as the format goes on, the better strategies will rise to the top. And so, like, it'll become less and less an open field for brewing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The dream is to build a deck that just completely breaks the format, right? Come back, killer SUV. I won't judge you for being a murderous minivan. George Monty, the dream is for Battle of Wits to be an M21 and play Battle of Wits in Pioneer. God damn it, somebody finally said it. Thank you. I'm not the only one. Yeah, no, I was very, very sad when the cutoff was announced for Pioneer to be returned to Ravnica. Because M13 was the last printing of Battle of Wits, and that was the set before, and I was like, ouch. And I mean, like, what else would M13 have brought to the format? Like, Door to Nothingness, Worldfire, and Thragtusk? There's probably something else broken in the set that I can't think of, but Come back, opponent. Opponent, please come back. I think a meteorite struck our opponent's house. I think that's the only reason that they wouldn't have come back for this long. Like, for real. Killer SUV came and claimed his life. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful when you get them joke usernames like that. Your namesake might come around to bite you. Like, I knew a guy named Hamster Tube Sock. You don't want to know what happened to him. Strangely enough, I'm not doing like anything right now, and I think this is the most viewers I've had in a long time. Which is really funny to me because like just sitting here waiting for an opponent to reconnect has gotten me more viewers than doing anything else. But let's face it, y'all ain't here because I'm good at the game. We know what you're here for. So, let's see. Is it still the 10-minute disconnection timer? We were here to see you cast Time Warp on my opponent. That was one time. That was one time, and it only got 17,000 views on a clip. I've been trying to think of a way to make Time Warps a thing in Pioneer, and never living it down, exactly. I've been trying to think of a way to make Time Warps a thing in Pioneer, and the only two cards that'll allow you to do it recursively is Time Stream Navigator and Sage of Hours. And there's some broken 1/1 counter stuff in this format, so I'm kind of wondering if we can get away with a Sage of Hours, put 5 1/1 counters on it every turn until you can win the game deck. I think it would be a lot of fun to try. Because there's some, like, dumb stuff you can do and recurring ways to put 1/1 counters on stuff. Oh my god, we won a game, but not because we deserved it. Alright, so we are 1-2 going on to round 4. The 3-2 dream is still alive. Jeez. We are playing Blue-White Approach in Pioneer, an exclamation point deck if you want to see the deck list. It is on Stream Decker if you use that extension. Round 4, here we go. I mean, if our opponent joins. Alright. I'd love to play first. This is probably the best hand we've been dealt yet. We'll keep. We're going to start Port Town untapped. One plays a Temple Garden into an Attune with Ether. Looks like we might be against the Marvel. Yeah, I'll keep Teferi. Opponent gets an island. We untap, we draw an irrigated farmland. We're just going to shock a Hallowed Fountain. No reason at all, don't worry. There are no two-mana counter spells in this format, opponent, don't worry about it. Commune with the Gods. Find a creature or enchantment. I don't think I counter this. Dig Through Time, Sylvan Caryatid, Wild Slash. They take Sylvan Caryatid. What on earth are they playing? Does anyone know? They're in the 1 and 2 bracket, and they got here on legitimately, so they're better than us automatically. We'll play Glacial Fortress. Pass the turn. Teamer Dig Through Time, apparently. There's a mountain. Is this a Knuckle Blade? Okay, it's a Caryatid. Okay. Play Plains. Pass the turn. And here I was thinking Attune meant some kind of Marvel deck, but in reality it probably just means Attune gives them extra usages of the stupid land that I can't remember the name of. I can remember its predecessor, Tendo Ice Bridge. Aether Hub, there we go. Probably just gives them extra usages of Aether Hub. They're probably Ascendancy, actually. This creature or enchantment dictates that they probably want some kind of good. Okay, cool. They treasure cruise. I mean, Censor is getting worse and worse, and we didn't really have a target for it. We could have countered Commune with the Gods, and maybe we should have. However, I got greedy. Okay, opponent plays Botanical Sanctum. And passes turn. We get a second Censor. Do we try and play Teferi? Yeah, why not? We're gonna do it. Watch us get Teamer Charmed. Okay, plus Teferi. Another Last Breath. Running Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time. Oh. Yeah, I think this is Ascendancy. Oh, they're gonna bounce to Fairy. Okay. Yeah, this has got to be Ascendancy. There's no way you run this density of cantrips and stuff without it. And if you cast it into a Censor, I'd be mighty grateful. But you're not going to, so I'm actually going to cycle this. Okay, opponent anticipates. Oh, I wonder if they're doing Sylvan Awakening Ascendancy. I feel like that'd be pretty sweet. We got a Supreme Will, which is somewhat useful. Oh, ow, that one hurt. I hope you guys didn't hear that, because that was gross. Okay, they bottomed a card, which I suppose is good for us. They play a Plains. Treasure Cruise. Sure. There's no need to play around anything, I swear. Opponent attunes. Sure. They fail to find a basic land. That's comforting. Let's Supreme Will, shall we? Go Impulsing. Well, that's not very useful. Take Censor as we have plenty of lands. Draw Verdict. Plus Fairy, see what we get. Search for his Kanta. Play Search. It's too bad this isn't other Teferi right now. Because, like... Okay, opponent anticipates. I think if they, like, Sylvan Awakening and combo off, and don't have just an instant win, which I'm pretty sure they could. But, like... If they don't, our best bet is to, like... try and cycle into, like, a Settle the Wreckage. To at least handle all of the land creatures. Opponent has drawn so many cards. They only have 30 cards left in their deck. There's the Sylvan Awakening. 2/2 elemental creatures with reach, indestructible, and haste. Okay. Last Breath is now an instant speed sinkhole, which feels pretty awesome. Okay. Last Breath of land. Last Breath of land. I mean, this feels pretty good. Teferi's gonna survive this, which is awesome. We'll cycle Censor. We'll cycle Censor. Get a Dig Through Time. That's awesome. Teferi goes to 2. And they play a Botanical Sanctum. We untap, search for his Kanta. We will not mill Settle the Wreckage, but we will transform search. Plus Teferi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can approach and have 4 mana, which leaves us settle the wreckage. Supreme Verdict doesn't do anything. We could Supreme Will and opt or dig through time, but I think that's what we do. Untap Hallowed Fountain, untap Anaskanta. So, if they don't kill us this turn, we just dig through time for approach and win the game. I mean, we have to counter this, right? How does our opponent's deck actually win? How does a Jeskai Ascendancy deck win in Pioneer? Besides damage. I don't think they do. I think they just win with damage, right? And we're holding a settle. I mean, as long as they don't have any main phase counter spells, we're probably okay. Or main deck counter spells, I mean, not main phase counter spells. Okay, opponent's gonna start comboing off. But they need to, like, Ascendancy, or Sylvan Awakening, I mean, and then cast a cantrip. I mean, I guess the second Jeskai Ascendancy would do it. This is probably worth countering. Because otherwise they start generating mana. So we either counter this, or we wait and we settle the wreckage this. And it depends on whether or not they run main deck counter spells, and if Sylvan Awakening is their only way to win. And I feel like it might be. I feel like Sylvan Awakening might actually be their only way to win. Main deck, anyway. You know what? I'm going to let my opponent do it. Actually, no. Nah, we're going to let our opponent do it. I'm indecisive. We're going to let our opponent do this. Deafening Clarion discarded. Jeskai Ascendancy number 3 discarded. Opponent attunes. We're going to get a little more information about our opponent's deck doing this, I think. Okay. I am going to counter this. No, actually I'm not. Sorry. This deck requires big brain, and that's something I don't have. Besides, I think going for the sweeter play and exiling all of their lands would be awesome. Traction Helix, strategic planning. They're paying a lot of mana for something. Digging through time. Okay. Sure. I imagine if they had main deck protection, we would have seen something by now. Nobody tell him. Nobody tell him, but he can feel the settle. Shh. Everybody quiet. Don't let him know. If they have another win condition, other than just Sylvan Awakening into big dudes in their main deck, I will happily lose this game. Digging through time again. I would not be surprised if they, like, jaced us and just won the game by milling themselves out. In which case we'll feel very bad for the Supreme Will being a Supreme Will and not a Disallow. Or a Dovin's Veto. Merchant of the Veil. That's pretty sweet if you've got an infinite mana combo to just, like, draw your whole deck. Dig through time number 3. I think number 4 overall? Yeah. Wild Slash is kind of some sweet anti-fog tech, I feel like. I don't know. There's probably another card in the format that's actually played that... We could be eating Wild Slash to death. I think that would actually be enjoyable. Okay, sure. Both at us. 3 at us. When I called it right, we had to settle. Hopefully they don't have a counterspell for this. They don't. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Approach again. Yay! We won a game! Awesome! Alright. So, Jeskai Ascendancy. I think we want Aether Gust. We definitely want Dovin's Veto. Stroke actually doesn't counter anything. Not Stroke, but Dispute does. Verdict is kind of mediocre. Cast Out we're going to keep because it's at least a cantrip. Deck Stone, not fantastic. Would be... Oh no, it's until your next turn. So if they Sylvan Awakening and whiff, we get Deck Stone. They likely will have Veil of Summers and like some kind of counterspell post-board. Odie Eve! Thank you for following the channel. Much appreciated. I really appreciate your support. You're a wonderful human being. We're going to cut a Fae of Wishes. We're going to cut probably a Jace. Supreme Will felt really bad, like that whole game. We're going to cut Supreme Will. And I think 1 Declaration in Stone. We're going to run it back like this. Alrighty then. Opponent's on the play. I feel like Mystical Dispute in our opener is pretty good, so we're going to keep this. Opponent starts Botanical Sanctum. We start Island. Pass the turn. Opponent's going to start with a Strategic Planning. We'll opt. Port Town. Ah, what the heck, to the top. Probably should have bottomed it, but I really wanted the land. They drop a Treasure Cruise and Wild Slash into their grave. We're going to play Port Town, reveal Plains. Censor off the top is kind of funny. Opponent tunes, that's fine. Picks up an island. Plays the island. Passes, we draw. Teferi, play Plains. Pass the turn. You now have access to Censor and Mystical Dispute. Opponent anticipates, that's fine. Hallowed Fountain, shocked. And a Teferi Time Raveler. Well, that is unacceptable. So we will counter. Perfect. Yeah, let's cycle Censor. I don't think our opponent can get to 6 mana this turn. Okay, opponent Spell Pierced. Temple Garden untapped. Opponent plays an Ascendancy. I got a feeling that if we can't handle that, we're going to lose almost immediately. This is feeling like a Treasure Cruise. Okay. Our opponent will likely have an answer to whatever we play. Even if we play Teferi and get rid of Ascendancy, it's entirely possible that they just Ascendancy and then Awakening and then win the game. Well, the untap trigger would happen before Awakening. So as long as our opponent doesn't have a land into, like, Veil of Summer, I think we're okay. No, they played a land this turn, didn't they? Okay. Play Glacial Fortress. Well, it's a fairy, Tuck Ascendancy, because we don't really have an option. They can Awakening to just kill Teferi, or slash him. That also works. I wonder if we could field to pressure our opponent's mana, or at least prevent them from redrawing Ascendancy. Cast Out's kind of reasonable, too. Let's go ahead and field... I'll field Sanctum. Get an island. Pass the turn. Hold up, Cast Out. Our opponent likely has a counterspell, but at least if it's a Veil of Summer, Cast Out will get around it. Okay, opponent plays a Botanical Sanctum. We draw an Opt, play Glacial Fortress. Pass the turn. Aether Hub for our opponent, going up to 5 energy. We opt, Temple of Enlightenment to the bottom. We draw Port Town. Last Breath. Okay, opponent opts. We'd like to draw a Dovin's Veto or our 3-mana Teferi. Ithing Needle. Okay. Probably names Hero of Dominaria. Yep. Okay. No more tucks. Play Search. This probably gets countered if they've got it. They'd have to, like, Swan Song, I'd imagine, to counter that. Okay. Opponent anticipates. Opts. Untaps. Gonna go digging. Digging through time. Well, that's pretty annoying. Okay. Nothing I can do about that. They're going to bounce, search for Iskanto. We get another Cast Out. So we're just going to main phase this and try and take out Teferi. Interactive Magic, ladies and gentlemen. Interactive Magic. God, I hate this card. Almost needed, what is it, Gideon's whatever? The Nevermore plus Oblivion Ring. Nevermore the Oblivion Ringed card. Okay, opponent has Ascendancy. Well, I got a feeling that it is now or never. If they've got it, they've got it. If they don't, they don't. They could also have another Ascendancy in hand. Or could cantrip into another Ascendancy. Alright, it resolved. We take Ascendancy from them. Ooh, actually, this really does work, doesn't it? That was better than I thought it was. Whew. Good news for us. Good news for us. So they have to have land into another cantrip. They haven't played a land yet this turn. They could still do that. So they could Retraction Helix or Cast Out, play a land, and one mana spell and untap their entire board and probably win the game. I think that's pretty much all they'd have to do is untap, because it would pump all their guys by 1. So they get back to Fairy, bounce Cast Out. Okay, they do not have... let's see. What do I do now? I think we have to do the same play. Do we? Because we have to prevent them from doing either of those things. I think we just cast out again. Teferi can't draw them any more cards. We're not casting any spells on their turn anyway. So we cast out... Yeah, we're going to cast out and cast out. This means they have to have both combo pieces again. Which is entirely possible for them to do. It's just, we don't really have an answer for that. Like, we're not holding a settle. And even if we did, they would likely have protection at that point. Here comes Dig Through Time. Anticipate. Green, white, blue... Oko! Oko makes a food. Well, alright then. I'm gonna play Teferi. +1 Teferi. And play Search. Pass the turn. So we can instant speed a Supreme Verdict, but that doesn't get us through Sylvan Awakening. It just prevents... We just really take out our wrath on an elk, which, to be completely honest, I'm willing to do. Well, Ascendancy. Is our opponent just going to make a really big elk? Is this the legendary Giga Elk? The reason I didn't minus is because our opponent did have a Pithing Needle they could have animated as well. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's happening. Opponent drops Wild Slash. Blazing Aether Hub. Veil of Summer. Yeah, we don't really care about Hexproof. You can have a great big elk if you like. We're not going to counter anything this turn. But we are going to smite this elk off the face of the planet. Oh, instant speed Supreme Verdict. I used to quicken Supreme Verdict back in the old standard days because I was bad at the game, but I love it. All right, our opponent scoops it up. We win the match. Woohoo! We won a match. We're 2-2. All right, going on to round 5 for all the marbles. That was a good game. Good game by our opponent. They had an interesting deck. They took interesting lines, and I really enjoyed it. All right, round 5. That is the first time I ran into it as well. Okay, we're gonna keep. I feel like this is okay as a blind keep. Okay. Opponent is on probably... Oh, it's the same guy. Yep, MTG Max. This is a very bad hand to keep against our opponent. Like, extremely bad. Excessively bad. Opponent plays a Smuggler's Copter. I'm gonna play Glacial Fortress and play Search for Iskanta. We're gonna need some verdicts this game. Opponent plays a Selfless Spirit. Fires up the Copter. This time we will know to bring in the Dovin's Vetoes because our opponent is on a very like creature heavy blue-white control list, but blue-white control nonetheless. Play Field of Ruin, Declaration in Stone, Selfless Spirit. Okay. Opponent fires up the Copter. I'm gonna get in for 3 and take us to 10. They drop another Declaration in Stone. Okay, we are going to cycle Censor into another Censor. I actually don't want to mill Fae of Wishes. We're going to play it as a flying blocker. If our opponent tries to Spell Queller us, we can censor it. Sweet. Try and stop hemorrhaging excessively. Opponent plays Teferi, rendering this kind of a moot point. 3 mana Teferi is definitely better than 5 mana Teferi in the situation. Because like our options now are to like play 5 mana Teferi, tuck 3 mana Teferi. Mill Plains. Okay. So we'll play 3 mana Teferi. Bounce Smuggler's Copter. Get a land we can't use. Recast a 1/4. We're gonna lose our 3 mana Teferi to Thraben Inspector Beats, which feels really bad. However, never mind. We're just gonna lose the game to Reflector Mage. Good lord. One at them, one at us. Yep. Sure. Yeah, I don't enjoy playing against it, I'll be honest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we have to like cycle into a Wrath. Yep. That's literally our only way to win. Does that do it? I think that prevents us from dying. If we plus. Not 100% certain on that. So, yeah, no, I miss Counterspell Wars in Control Mirrors or in Tempo Mirrors and stuff like that. Never mind, we're dead. That's really unfortunate. Opponent's deck is just good. Like, it's just a solid deck. Alright, 1 second. 1 second. I will be right back. I'll let him in the office. I've got an excitable dog right here that he's a little jerk is what he is. So we're gonna bring in Mystical Dispute for sure. Bring in Dovin's Vetoes. And then we know they're running Gideon, but that's probably the only 4 mana spell Stroke actually hits. I guess Detention Sphere too. I'm gonna drop 1 Fae. One Teferi. We're gonna bring in the Last Verdict for sure. 1 Jace. Couple of Censor now that they know about it. Well, maybe not. Censor is actually really good. We're gonna cut a Last Breath. And a Supreme Will. Goodness, you're loud, dude. Hey, knock it off. Just lay down for a bit, okay? Alright, we'll play first. I don't know how good this will be, but hopefully good enough. So we're going to cycle this Censor into a Temple. Play a Plains. We're probably going to cycle this Irrigated Farmland next. Okay, Selfless Spirit for our opponent. We get a Glacial Fortress. So play Temple of Enlightenment. Glacial Fortress to the bottom. We're going to cast Fae of Wishes. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Castle Ardenvale into a Reflector Mage. Sure. Play a Plains, or Island, I mean. Play Jace, and Uptick. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Gideon. Well, that sure is annoying. I attack 2 at Jace. We draw a Teferi Time Raveler. Uptick Jace. Play Glacial Fortress. Pass the turn. It's very unlikely we get them with a Settle, but I think that's what we have to play as. Because like Supreme Verdict literally only kills Selfless Spirit. We don't have a lot of good options, and this is a really bad matchup. And I'm positive that I'm piloting the deck suboptimally on top of that, but I still think the other facts are true. Okay, opponent gonna make a knight. Three at Jace. Let's try and settle. Hey, it worked. It's probably bad for us overall, because giving our opponent access to that much mana will probably be bad. What's the matter? What's wrong? Alright. Let's see. Down tick Jace. Alright, alright. Go ahead. Land, Last Breath. We played a land this turn. So we're going to take Last Breath. Rest of the bottom. We're going to play Teferi. Okay, opponent lets it go. We're going to minus on the knight to draw, and then recast Fae of Wishes. Okay, opponent makes a human. Reflector Mages the Fae, animates Gideon, and they're going to kill both our Planeswalkers now. Slightly annoying, but not the end of the world. I really wish this was an untapped land. Well, I guess they can't Queller it, so hopefully they don't have a Mystical Dispute. They do not. Okay, we're going to attack Gideon. Yeah. I had a feeling after playing him the first time that Wrath was the wrong move there. Especially because they could have just animated Gideon too, but like... Alright, we're taking a bunch of damage. Cycle Sensor. Get a Port Town, untap. Get a Dovin's Veto. That's kind of a welcome sight. So Supreme Verdict. Hopefully they'll have another Archangel Avacyn. What the nuts? So... Never mind. And we're just gonna be dead. This is some nonsense, opponent. Oh my goodness. That is a great big walking ballista. Good play. That was a really good play, using walking ballista to flip Avacyn to kill us. Good play by the opponent. Alright, so we almost 3-2'd. We didn't deserve to 3-2. We had one opponent disconnect, and they definitely should have beat us. However, I feel like this deck will need some major tweaks before we run it through again. We were nowhere near as good against the aggressive decks that we ran up against that we would like to be. Our Wraths were almost too slow. I think I would like more Settle the Wreckage, or maybe like, I don't know. None of the 5-mana Wraths are like going to make or break this deck.